our fourth and fifth knuckle, and this is going to cause an injury. So when we have our palms facing in towards our body, we're going to have full contact with our target. And so with that, our punch is going to go across. We're reaching across our body towards our opposite shoulder. It's going to be parallel to the floor. And so it's important to know that when we start the punch, we're not going to extend our shoulder or our elbow out, because that's incorrect. It's going to be a tight punch. It's going to be close to our body the whole time, and when we release, it's going to come out. And then it's important, our wrists, they can't be bent, because if they're bent, you're probably going to get hurt. We want them to be straight, okay? And so with that, this punch, we're going to use our whole body to power up and release, and we're going to get a lot of power and strength by using our whole body to twist into the punch. And so by doing that, we are going to work on our footwork. And so the footwork for the hook is when we power up, we're going to take our back foot and pivot like the cross. So we're going to squish the butt, and then when we release, we're going to pivot both feet out. So just like Brooke and Luke are demonstrating that, they're pivoting when they release that punch, their outside foot too. And then their hips are going to be turning immediately. And so our cue for this is a cape. So like our cross, we had Superman. Superman has a cape. And so we're going to take that cape, and we're going to swing it across our body. Okay? So are there any questions with that you guys have? Any clarification? Okay, great. Now we're going to get about a minute of practice, and then once the teacher lets you know, you guys can go on to practice the jab, cross, and hook sequence, okay?
May I see you tucked in?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to extend your shoulder that much. It's really tight. Did you say nice and low? Perfect. And then, if you want to go a little bit more, jab, cross, guys, and yeah, no, exactly. I didn't think about it. It's like you're Superman. You're already going to be in this position. Yeah.
punches that we've learned. Is everyone comfortable with them? Are there any questions? No? Great. All right, we are going to move on to the fourth and final punch of our sequence, which is the uppercut. So if I could get my demonstrators up here, Luke's going to be up here in cat, and we're going to learn the proper technique for the uppercut. So first of all, can everyone see my demonstrators? Yep. Great. So you can see they're going to be in their proper kickboxing stance with their fists up by their face. And to start this move, we're going to drop our dominant arm, keeping our elbow flexed and turning your thumb out laterally. So supinating your arm, you're going to bring it back and lock it by your hip. Lock your fist down by your hip. So let's just see that first half of the movement. Good. So it looks like kind of like a victory move, a little bit, like you just did really well on the test or a lesson plan for pedagogy. You're going to celebrate with that victory movement. Right. Okay, so from here, your fist is down by your hip. You're going to bring it up and around. Kind of like you're punching around a big beach ball. Like if Luke had a beach ball sitting on his bicep right here, he's going to punch up and around it. Making sure that he's following through, not just stopping his punch at his target right here, but a lot of your power is going to come from that follow through. So your footwork, his foot is pivoting, and cat's foot too, they're both pivoting, like they're squishing the butt, and their hips are turning forward as they come through, which is going to give you a lot more power in that twist of your lower body. So all together, we bring it back in that victory motion, and then scoop up and around, like around the big beach ball. Your foot pivoting. Good. Yeah, and make sure you're following through. And not just using your shoulder muscles, but really your whole body. That lower body, that twist, and everything is going to contribute to a lot more power. Okay, so are there any questions?
Can we go over one more time?
One more time? Great. Okay, so from the beginning, you're in your stance. Your hands are up by your face, guarding your face. You're going to bring back your dominant arm, flex at the elbow, bring your fist back to your hip, and supinate it. So you're back here, just like that victory motion. And then, when you come up, you're going to punch up and around a beach ball. And you're going to bring your knees up, they're flexed. You're going to come up and through. So when you come back down, your knees are flexing, you're coming down. And then when you come up, you're extending your knees, bringing your arm up around the beach ball, making sure you're following through and turning your hips forward. Okay, any questions? Cooper.
How does this fit in the sequence? Is it the last one?
This is the last punch of our 4-punch sequence. So if you feel really comfortable with the first 3 and you get this one down pretty quickly, you can start putting all 4 together to get really fluid and concise movements. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of time to practice this. Ready? Go.
Oh, that's here. All right. Here, come back to my head. Yep. Come back like this. Yep.
And you're kind of like getting a little bit of accent. And you want to make sure that your arm stays back and you raise your ears. Like imagine there's so you have to like go under. So you're able to feel your abs. You're like, so you get a lot of power. Because what you want to do is push. Let's see it. Yep. Perfect. I like your pivot too. Let's see your leg. Yep. I like your side split. So like the really tight muscles. Back nice. Good job, ladies. Nice.
Right. I think you got it.
Just maybe get play. Gel spray.
Well, I'm sorry, it's such a mistake, so is that South Park?
All right.
That's too crazy. That's still beginner. You're right. Still beginner. Yeah, the simple and complex guy.
Okay, now let me see what's name. Jab, cross. Oh, you understood? Yeah. All right. Here, from the top. Here.
Yeah.
Did?
Okay.
No.
Where you want to make sure to
No, you
slow
didn't.
down and go.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Sensei.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Make sure you're a little up. Back first, and just pull it off the back.
Attention!
Yes, Sensei.
Great job. You guys all look really good with those punches. Are there any questions for the first 4 punches that we have learned? No? Great. All right. Who's ready to start using some equipment, maybe?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so first, we have to learn how to use this equipment properly, and then we're going to pair you guys up, and you can practice a little bit, all 4 punches with the equipment. It's going to be really fun. But first, just pay attention to the rules for the equipment, and especially the focus pads. Luke, right now, is holding what we call focus pads, and these really help to increase your hand-eye coordination and work on your technique. So, when we're learning how to use this equipment, it's not just the boxing gloves. You think if you have the gloves, that's the most important part. The focus mitts are actually really important for this partner practice. So a few things we need to know about holding the focus mitts. First of all, you have one on each hand. You slip your fingers into the back. There's places to put your fingers in. First thing you need to remember is to keep them tight. So you want your partner to be able to practice like they're in a real life scenario. So you're going to keep them close to your own head and body like they were actually fighting a real opponent. Luke is doing a great job. He has them turned angled a little bit inwards, and they're about 6 inches apart. Okay? So keep them tight. Also, notice how his elbows are close to his body, kind of like a penguin. You want to keep them really close and tight and not out here in the open. Next, we're going to remember that Luke needs to provide the appropriate resistance for Kat when she's punching. So when Kat goes to punch the mitt, Luke doesn't want to just let her punch him all the way back, because first of all, that could hurt his arm and his shoulder, and also that's not giving her proper practice. So Luke's gonna push on her mitt a little bit, but he's not gonna whack her glove, because that could hurt Kat. It's really more of a little love tap. You're just pushing a little bit against it, providing some resistance for the glove. Next, you're going to remember to get the appropriate position for the mitts for the proper punches. So for the first 2 punches we learned, which were, what are they called? Jab, cross. Perfect. For those, Luke's doing great. You hold the mitt straight in front because they're forward punches. But for the last 2 we learned, the hook and the uppercut, Luke is going to learn how to move his gloves to adjust for Kat's positioning. So for the hook, Luke needs to move his left hand out to balance out Kat's hook. So if you could line up with Kat and practice just a hook, practice moving your mitt out to the side. Right, perfect. And then for the uppercut, you're going to have to move your right mitt facing down. Perfect, so that Kat's glove hits it. Okay, so as you notice, Luke is in command right now. The person with the focus mitts, you're in control. So you get to decide what punches the person is doing, your partner, and this helps you be able to brace for the impact that's coming towards you. So they're going to start off really simply, maybe with just a jab or a jab and a cross combination. And then as they get more comfortable with it, they're going to move really slowly, learning how to move the mitts and coordinate for the proper punches. So in your partner pairs, you guys start off with a few jabs, maybe a jab and a cross, and then as you get comfortable with that, you can start throwing in the hook and the uppercut and adjusting and learning how to move the mitts. Okay, and finally, the last thing they're going to remember is to move around a little bit. Real fights, you're not just stationary or still, but you're always moving, always adjusting, so they're just going to move around. So these guys are going to demonstrate maybe just one combination that they've worked on.
Okay. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut, jab, cross, hook, uppercut.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing is that Kat was doing a great job punching across. So her jab, she was punching across to Luke's left mitt, and then for the cross to the right mitt. So just remember that's a general rule. You're always punching across for your partner. Okay, are there any questions for how to use the focus mitts or the gloves? All right, so I'm going to pair you guys up. And when you get in your pairs, I want you to find each other and stand on this line that Anna is standing on. One of the partners will be facing the mirror, and the other one will have their back to the mirror. So the partners are Libby and Laura, Alexis and Emily, Megan and Casey, Cody and Cooper, Will and Nate, Brent and Ben, Erica and Marcos.
There we go.
All right, so guys, I need you to get your partners pretty quickly, and we're going to hand out the
Hey guys, so something to remember, we want you to always call out what
you're
so we don't just want you to start touching, you want to go, like we say 1, 2, 3, 4, as in jab front to the back.
My punch is this.
Or, yeah, okay. Alright, so one of this was because that's not all
It's the gloves. And then could you guys please join us on this line right here? And Nate, you get the gloves, you're facing the mirror.
Hockey gloves.
Will, you get this is a really important job. Whatever.
Yeah, so I'm hockey gloves. Is there a certain hand?
How do we hold like this?
Yeah, you can either hold them like that, or you can slip your hands underneath.
Okay guys, so before you start practicing, as you're putting on your equipment, can you listen up for just 1 second? Our main priority right now is your guys' safety. So make sure you remember the rules that we're supposed to use the equipment properly. Don't punch your partner anywhere besides the focus mitts. Make sure you're going really slowly. Start off with your simple movements, and then once you get comfortable using the equipment, move into more complex combinations. But we just want you guys to be really safe, really smart with this equipment.
And always call out what you're punching. We don't want to see anyone who's doing something unexpected. Call out 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. So like never say or never don't say anything. You always need to be calling out something so you know what to expect as the receiving person.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay, let's get
You
started.
guys can start practicing.
All right.
Right, the numbers?
Here, Nate.
What numbers?
Laura, you got some back here.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 3.
I don't know if
By your face? Make it work. They're already on. And remember, don't forget to also be.
Let's do all four.
Also remember to be a good distance away so she can actually stand up. So she can
Cross.
Ready? Yeah.
Let's go. Attention, everybody! Great job practicing. We're all going to really quickly take our equipment, put our gloves in one pile, and our focus mitts in the other. So your gloves are going to go right over here where Will is, and your focus mitts are going to go over where Ben is. And just drop them really quickly, and then I need you guys to hurry and get back in your 3 lines of 5 with a window to see the front.
We're working around that exhaust.
Yo, me and Wong are going at it.
Our fighting parafighter.
All right, everyone attention. Great, thanks. Okay, we're going to go through a few stretches, and while we're stretching, follow me, but also listen to Animal Sheet as a review, okay?
All right, folks, so let's review what we went over today. We learned the hook. What is the cue for the hook?
Cape.
So you're drawing your cape like a Superman. And what are some of the points to remember with the hook?
You load up with the pivot.
Yep, load up with a pivot, keep your elbow on a U.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight. Everything should be tight, and you should return back to your stance as soon as possible, and you shouldn't have a floppy punch and then get back here. It should be boom, boom. So what's the cue for the uppercut?
Beach ball.
Beach ball, and why?
Victory.
Yeah, victory, beach ball. So why do we say beach ball?
Because we want to flex around the beach ball.
Yeah, you want to go up and around, and you want to get that nice sweeping movement so it's not too tight. You want to go up and around so that you can, ideally, in a fighting situation, get someone right here. Okay, so what are some of the points to remember with the uppercut?
Low.
Yep.
Down, down low.
So you need to squat those legs so that you can load the motion and then spring up and come up with a pivot on your back foot. So how did you guys like working with the equipment today?
Felt great.
Yeah? You like that? Okay, we'll have more of that for you from here on out, so it'll be really fun. Were there any difficulties with the equipment? No. No? Everything's all good? Yeah, how to position them in? Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure to go over that again next class and help out any confusion. I know that was unnatural for me at first to have to switch, especially when you're going fast. It's really confusing. But we'll make sure to go over that again. So let's review all of our movements. We start with our stance. We go into the pivot. And then we have a
Jump. Cross. Hook. Uppercut.
Yep. Perfect. Way to go, guys. So next class we will review all of these movements. Make sure that we can perform them in a fluid sequence. So ideally we want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4 without much hesitation. And start getting into some kicks. So